I'm Bianca Guzman, and I am a community psychologist. I earned my doctoral degree from Michigan State University. The way I got into community psychology was because I took a class with a Latina woman who I felt was like me and talked about the values of community psychology, which kept sticking to me as social justice and equality at that time. And so I thought that would be a great place. And she was a woman, one of the few women that took community psychology. And I also thought community psychology was a place where I could go to the community, or I could do things outside of the university setting, which I didn't see happening in any other field of psychology. I got a BA in developmental psychology. I have an MA in social psychology, and so I kind of went the gamut of psychology. And I think community psychology represents the values that I think are important. Throughout my whole career, my goal has always been to increase the visibility of Latinas or women of color, and to talk about issues of health and health disparity. And so I think that I've been able to do that through, one of my first jobs was working at an Oregon Research Institute, and then I went to a private university, and then I worked in a Department of Public Health, all as a faculty member. And I didn't really find my place until Chicano Studies, Chicano Latino Studies. That's the place where I felt the work that I was doing was important enough to be housed in that space. And so I stayed doing my work in community psychology, but through a Chicano Latino Studies department. And my commitment to that department was extensive. I became a full professor. I was chair for many years while the university went through a lot of rumblings around what does it mean to have ethnic studies and why is ethnic studies important. And as I moved forward, I moved into administration. And one of the things that I think is really important is to transition students, especially in public Hispanic serving institutions in Los Angeles, a large metropolitan city. One of the things we have to do is be of service, because that is where the equity is. And so I began to have conversations in the university around how do we make it so that students can succeed, even though they are set up to succeed in many ways. We get really the cream of the crop students, but we want to make the transition even easier. We have many students that drop out, many students that continue and go to community college at the same time. My current work at Cal State University is I direct an office which is called Pathways, and the charge and the mission of Pathways is to provide a college-going culture in the surrounding community. So we do a lot of community engagement. It directly aligns with community psychology because we're not talking about individual people that we're impacting, but we're impacting school districts, schools, and community colleges all at the same time. And so that is where I am now. Who knows where this project will lead in the future, but it was a small project, and now it became an office, and now it became a reality. Community psychology has really been a vehicle for me to be able to do all of the things that I want to do, because I feel it has all of the pieces that I feel are important. It has a feminist perspective. It aligns with Latino values, Latino cultural wealth, other ideas about ethnic identity and positivism. And so I think all of that allows me to propel my work forward and to feel like, I think there's a piece that you have to feel good about the work that you're doing, and it has to feel satisfactory to you. And that, I think, is what community psychology brings for me.